what if, so you're a lit agent. So lit manager. See, everybody does it.
Yeah.
The lit manager. What would a writer, what would you look for in a writer, and what can a writer do to go about securing themselves a manager such as yourself?
Okay. So let's answer the second part first of how a writer would get a manager.
Yeah.
So first, I need to give the caveat that there is not just one way to do things in the film industry for any aspect of the film industry. There is pretty much always an exception. So just because I'm like, this is traditionally what you do, doesn't mean that you can't do it another way. But typically, traditionally, first of all, you're going to, this might sound obvious, but you're going to want to write scripts. And I mean several scripts. And the reason I feel like that's worth noting is because there are plenty of screenwriters out there that they write one script or maybe two scripts and think, now I'm ready to get a manager, or now I'm ready to get an agent. That's not true, because if you are somebody looking for representation, regardless of if it's a manager or an agent, they need to sell you. And if you don't have enough scripts, they don't have things to sell you on, sell for you. And if you only have one script, it also might have been a fluke script. That one script might have been really good, because that has happened where there's been a writer that writes a really amazing script, but none of the others even have semblance of it. And sure, a manager helps develop scripts, but it was kind of like, are you sure that you wrote this one script that was really good and this wasn't somebody else? And I'm sure it was them that wrote it, but there are fluke instances that they happen to write one good script. So write lots of scripts. Then what you're going to do is you're going to need to get your work out there. And the main way that happens is entering festivals and contests. And when I say that, I don't mean just entering any festival and contest under the sun. It doesn't do anything for you besides cost you money, because you spend money when you enter scripts into contests. There are only a handful of these festivals, contests, etc., that really hold any weight that manager and agent might be looking at. I'd say the number one most credible one out there is the Nichols Fellowship. If you want to get signed, that is the best one to make a mark in. So that's the number one, the Nichols. And then there's other ones such as Austin Film Festival, Sundance, Slam Dance, things like that. All ones that I know people that have gotten repped from, or managers that have found clients from. And you don't need to win these contests or festivals, by the way. You, by being a finalist, you're a finalist, but you can be a semi-finalist. And it's, again, if you're talking about these top contests and these top competitions, not just the random town in the middle of nowhere local 100 festival. If you're talking about, though, these big ones that are considered to be prestigious, if you're a semi-finalist, great. That's, you don't need to be a finalist, is my point there.
Yeah.
Okay. Then what you're going to do is, yes, there are some agents and managers that might look at those contests to find scripts and find potential new clients, but not everyone. If you have agents or managers that you are interested in having them rep you, then you can reach out to them and query them and do a query letter. And I can talk more about query letters in a second. But if you are wanting a rep, but not knowing who to reach out to, you can go on IMDb and look up films that are of a similar style and vein, a similar voice to you that you believe you might resemble. Look up who is representing those people, those writers, and that would be a good place to start of who to reach out to. That said, I wouldn't start with the biggest blockbuster films that are out there, because odds are those reps are not going to be interested in representing someone that this is going to be their very first manager or agent. So there's a little balancing act you have to do there. But when you do send a query letter out, regardless of these contests and competitions, if somebody's reaching out to you from it, part of why they're good is because that becomes your subject line that you're sending as an email. You're going to say finalist in the Nichols.
Yeah.
You're
Actually, just one quick thing. I know you said semifinalist helps too. Does quarterfinalist help?
It depends who you ask. I think so.
Okay.
And I say that because I just had this conversation. I was with a few managers, let's say a month ago. And that was the debate that was happening, was specifically about if quarterfinalists mattered or not. I think they matter. Okay. Obviously, higher you go, the better, logically. Yeah. But I think if you're able to say that you're a quarterfinalist, that's still something that you can put in the subject line of a query email. And that's one of the biggest reasons why it matters. Is now when you send an email, you send a query letter out, you're able to put something in the subject line that makes a manager and agent at least have their interest peaked, right? Yeah. Why they should open it, because we get query letters all the time from all sorts of people. If you're not giving us a reason to open your email, odds are we're not going to. So putting that directly in the subject line is extremely, extremely important. And then when you're sending these query letters out, never attach a script to it. That is one of the biggest mistakes people make. If you attach a script, that email is automatically being deleted no matter what. Like, that agent or manager might have been interested in you. They might have been thrilled to hear from you, and it might have been an amazing relationship. But because you attach that script legally, they have to delete it because it's a legal liability. So never, ever, ever attach a script. If you're not asked to send a script, do not send a script. When you're, and then also keep your email to them short and sweet. That's another big mistake people make, is they'll send these like paragraphs of this is why I want to be a filmmaker, and this is why, and this whole life story, and let me tell you about all the scripts that I have. And again, agents, managers, just assume that they're really busy, and if they don't have a reason to read your email, they're not going to read your email, because we get a ton of random emails constantly. If you want the highest chance of somebody paying attention, this is the credential of why you should pay attention. This is the genre. This is, I write stuff in this space, I have a collection of 7 scripts, whatever it is. It's just like, here's these bullet points that someone might care about. Let me know if you want to hear more. Would love to chat further. The other thing is make it as personalized as possible whenever you can. So if you are reaching out to any agent or manager that you can find the email address of blindly, not going to give you a great chance at getting representation. If you can make something personal to them, now you're increasing your chances. So what I mean by that is, if you in your email share some sort of insight that lets the person on the receiving end know, and this is just in general with business, this isn't just for managers or agents, this is if you're trying to get a hold of anyone. If you put something in that email that lets them know, I'm trying to reach you, I'm trying to talk to you, they now have an increased chance of responding to you. So for example, if you know the sports team that somebody likes, for example, I'm Boston sports fan, all Boston sports. And if somebody knows that and they reach out and they say, I'm also a Patriots fan or Red Sox fan, Celtics fan, whatever it is, and like includes that little personal anecdote, I now know they did some form of research before reaching out. I now know they didn't just blindly send the same copy and pasted email to everyone. So giving some sort of reason why you want them specifically, or just something that shows you did some research, that is significantly going to increase your chances of getting a rep. The other thing you do, and it's a long extended answer, but there's a lot of things that go into getting a rep. The other thing you can do is you can write short films for the sake of showcasing your ability to tell a story, just a start to end, how it flows, what the dialogue's like, just what your style is, and collaborate with other filmmakers and make those short films to enter into film festivals. And I wouldn't say the easiest way to get a rep, but it's a possibility. I'm just trying to get you to think a little creatively of how you can get your stuff out there, because odds are you're not going to have $1 million in your back pocket to finance a full-length feature film to get out there.
Yeah.
Also, you're going to want to network and talk to people and chat with people, because a lot of times how agents and managers find new people is by referrals. So if I'm meeting up with a friend of mine that I've known for a while, that knows my taste, that knows what I'm looking for, and they say, hey, there's this writer that has this, they have several scripts. I read one of them. It's amazing. I really think you should read it. They're looking for representation. That is going to be far more likely that I read that script that they give me versus a random person reaching out to me, that there's no middle connection. So when you're going to anything, network, chat, meet people, you never know who's going to connect you with the right person.
That's
Believe
true.
it or not, that's my short answer.
I actually do believe it. It's a complicated and wonky topic. So as a manager, do you represent just screenwriters, or do you take authors, novelists, anything of the sort? Or
On the literary side specifically, I take screenwriters. I've had screenwriters that happen to also be authors, but it's not like they're an author, right? Screenwriting's their main thing. They also had books. My first ever literary client that I ever signed was a writer, director, and author. It was a coincidental thing. It wasn't a that's what I was seeking thing. So technically, if they're a screenwriter that has books, but not somebody that's just on the side writing books.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And a lot of writers are writer directors.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. And I used to, before going to literary, was looking at talent to rep. I don't know if you want me to get into kind of what to do for that, but
Yes, that was going to be the next one.